in this video, I want to share 2 metrics that you should be paying attention to that are going to help you as an SDR. The biggest problem SDRs have is that they think that a meeting set equals success. And though setting up a meeting is partial success, it's not fully success, because let me give you an example. Let's just say your quota for the week that you have to meet in terms of meeting set is 15. And let's say you go above and beyond, you set 17 meetings up. Well, let's just say out of those 17 meetings, one of them show up. Well, that's not really success, right? Because you're going to have a bunch of no-shows, and then the account executive, or if you're working with directly with a VP, can come down and tell you, hey, listen, none of these meetings showed up. Like, what happened? Like, what kind of conversations are you having? So it's good that you hit your numbers, but at the same time, it's not the metric that you should be paying attention to, right? Setting up a meeting is partial job of the SDR, of the sales rep. So in this video, I want to share 2-3 things that you should be paying attention to outside of your meeting set. Because like I said, what if you hit all those meetings set, but none of them show up? Then it's not really success, right? So I want to share with you 2 metrics that you should be paying attention to that are going to help you as an SDR. The first one is meetings held. So not just meetings set anymore, meetings held. And what I want to do is I want to kind of share some tips that can help you increase your prospects to show up to the meetings that you set up, right? So here's what I do. Before I end the call, I don't really ever end a call until I get them to confirm that they received the invite, right? And then once they confirm the invite, I tell them, hey, can you please just go ahead and click yes? That way, I just get clarity that you'll be able to show up. That way we can really reserve that spot for you with my account executive. I get them before I get them off the phone. I make sure that they click and they say yes, they got the email. Because if I just hang up and I don't get confirmation for them that they got the email or that they clicked yes, the probability of them showing up is probably going to go down by a little bit, right? Because it's out of mind, out of sight. They probably won't see it on their calendar. They won't see any emails. Or maybe they do see emails, but they just don't pay. Maybe the emails do go through, but they don't pay attention to it. So I want to make sure on my end that I get them to click yes. And what that does, it does a few things. One, it kind of gives them, like, it makes like a small commitment for them to like know that, hey, this is gonna happen. And then the second thing that's gonna happen is that they're gonna get reminders once they click yes, right? So that is one of the things that you want to do before you hang up and you set the meeting up, right? Obviously, I think it's great that if your company has like automated reminders and emails set up so that leading up to that meeting, they get those reminders. That definitely helps. And obviously qualify your prospects always, right? Don't just set up a meeting with someone that probably shouldn't be having the conversation or doesn't qualify, right, to even have the conversation, right? Make sure you always qualify. That's kind of a given. But make sure there's real buy-in. Make sure that this is something that like they're really, gonna show up to, and there's real interest, and this is resonating. Your product is resonating with them, right? Because again, let's just say you set up a meeting with someone that doesn't even qualify. Well, obviously, like then you set up a meeting, but it's not going to translate to the next metric that you need to be paying attention to, which leads me to my second point. The next metric you need to be focused on, aside from meetings set and meetings held, is proposals sent, right? Because if a proposal is sent, then you're just one step away from making sure or you're just one step away from that deal being closed, right? So again, if you just set up meetings, right, and there's a no-show, then there's not going to be a proposal. But if you set up meetings and then there's they do show up, but then there's no proposal because it wasn't qualified, then again, you just kind of wasted your time. So you want to make sure you get the whole picture here. Meeting set is just one part, them showing up is another thing, and then a proposal being sent out is like the biggest thing you want to be focused on. For me, this has changed the game for me, right? Because I'm not really paying attention so much as to the meetings that I've booked. Now I'm really focusing, all right, how many proposals can I get sent out, right? And then I'm just kind of working my way backwards from there, right? That's how I'm looking at it now. So the faster proposal is sent out, the higher the chance it is that it's going to turn into like a closed deal, right? And that's super important because you want wins as an SDR. You want your name every time there's a win. People have said different companies have different ways of how they set up their win notification. Some might have it on Slack, might be an email, but you want your name to be on that board, on that leaders board of wins, right? Because that is going to set you up to the next level, which is an AE, account executive. And the other thing I want to say is that the gap, like the bigger the gap is between the meeting that they show up and a proposal being sent out, the more time there is in between those two things, the harder it is to be for them to be actually for the deal to close. And I'm not saying that if you send out a bunch of proposals, all of them are going to get closed, because that's not how it works. But it's just another a probability that's going to help you to actually get a closed deal, right? So for me, I don't one of the questions I got from one of the new guys at the company the other day was, hey, how far out can we, schedule meetings? Well, I don't really like to go too far out. I don't want to book 3 months from now, because then they probably won't even show up realistically, right? Now you can book it and get the credit for add it as part of your quota for a meeting set. But you want to make sure that the gap between the time you set up the meeting with the AE and the time that the proposal is sent out is not too far apart. Or rather, the meeting you set up with your account executive and the day you set it up is not too far. Like, meaning you don't want it to be scheduled like a month from now, right? Because that's just way too far. The further the gap, the harder it is for it to be closed, in my opinion. I like to get things out ASAP, right? So in a day, 1-2 days from now. The furthest is like a week, right? And in order to, one of the other things that can kind of help you, or another metric that you might want to pay attention to, that can really increase you getting more proposals out, is live transfers, or what they call live handoffs, right? Because a live handoff is you're talking to someone that you're already qualified, or you're qualifying, right? And they're like, hey, I want to talk to someone now. So usually what I do, I give the prospect two options. Hey, there's two ways we can go about it. We can set something up now for a date sometime tomorrow or later this week, or even next week, or I can transfer you to someone now if you want to have that conversation. And I always push those two options, because I want to get live transfers, because live transfer, in my experience, is then they have a conversation with the account executive that could be 10, 15 minutes, and that could be a proposal sent out right there. And then just from there, you just kind of touch base and follow up with them, right? And it's just a signature away from getting closed. So these are the metrics that I'm looking at as a sales rep, as an SDR in the tech space, in the SaaS space, that lead to success, right? Because again, the goal is to get some meetings set, but really the bigger picture and the bigger goal should be proposals being sent out and closed deals, because that is the name of the game, right? The more you close, the more your name is on the leaders board, and then that can set you up in a good position with your company, but also can get you to the next position, which is an account executive. And then you start building a reputation for yourself within the industry and within your company. And that obviously is great things for us, people who are in sales. So hope you found value. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you have any questions, drop a comment. Talk to you soon.